Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Stay Creative Podcast, a show dedicated to highlighting, promoting, and celebrating the unique art and soul of the many talented independent artists that I meet. Through making this show, I have strengthened an existing belief that you cannot have a conversation with a person about their passion without taking some of it for yourself. So this show is also dedicated to sharing insights, tips, and encouragement that are going to be beneficial to people in any stage of finding, refining, or perfecting their creative voice. Today we're talking with Oshua. He is a very talented, emotional hip-hop artist. He's a lyricist and a vocalist in his project with a new EP out called Sleeping Forever. He's going to go over some of making that EP, some of the collaboration that went into it, some of the just creative journey that he's had in a very relatively short amount of time to have created something so well put together. Stick around. I am excited to share as much of Josh's time with everyone as I can. So I want to ask Josh, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
So I guess a bit about my music. I started literally, I think, mid-March, just messing around on FL Studio. Happened to be in the same voice call as Ozone from Indie Music Feedback. And he was like, hey, what are you working on? And I guess he helped me a lot. He spent, I think, maybe 2 whole nights just helping me record and mix my first song.
Wow.
I've been trying to get in contact with him actually, but yeah, unfortunately, I think he's really, really busy with life stuff. So yeah. Ever since he helped me with that, it really kind of, I guess, hooked me on music. I started joining a bunch of other communities, just asking as many people as I could for their help, I guess. And yeah, I met a lot of people that I'm working with now. And yeah, as for myself, aside from music, I'm a full-time student at the moment. I'm in my 3rd year of my undergrad. I'm studying finance and data science, so very, very different to music.
Yeah, big time.
I have no musical background at all. I'm very fortunate to have a few friends that really know what they're doing. Not only with, I guess, like electronic music, but also just music in general. But yeah, it's a bit about me. I moved to Australia in 2012. Before that, I grew up in South Africa, and before that, I was born in Canada.
Do you have fond memories of, like you said, born in Canada, but do you have memories of Canada at all?
Negative. I was only present in Canada for 6 months.
Okay.
Then yeah, I grew up in South Africa as a kid, and then moved here as a teenager. But yeah,
awesome. Do you have real fond memories of South Africa? Like, is that somewhere you'd like to go back someday? Yeah.
We used to go back pretty much every year, but I think as things have gotten worse, plus all my friends have moved from my hometown to other cities to do college and university. So now I haven't been back in around, I think, 2.5 years now or something. But yeah, I do like going back, but I don't think the country is in the best state at the moment.
Specifically COVID, or are there just other things going on where you're from, your hometown area?
I definitely say COVID's added to the mix, but there's just been a huge racial divide in the country, I think. I think it hasn't gotten any better in the time that we've been in Australia. So
gotcha. Yeah, that's a shame, man. I hope things get better, where you are, and where you consider kind of a back home area for you. It's hard to
yeah, me too. It really is like a beautiful country though. Like you could hop in a car and drive 8 hours to any direction and you'd see a lot,
So in that entire background, when did you first pick up and start creating music?
Mid-March of this year.
That's crazy, man. You're yeah. So two night sessions with Ozone, and all of a sudden you've got this EP put together. That's wild, man. It's really good stuff.
I'm still actually in disbelief. Like I don't know. Like so in February I went on a trip like down south to down southwestern Australia, just to like my mate's house. He has a house in like one of the rural areas there, so it's pretty cool to go down there, go to the beach, and get away from the city. And he's been, I guess, messing around with Ableton for maybe a year now, and he was like, oh, like as like a meme, like, oh, let's make like a hip hop song, but like a complete like meme song, like not serious at all. We recorded it over like Apple headphones, like put up some mattresses around the room, and it sounded so bad. But I don't know. I think that's when I first I was like, I'm not good at this, but I really enjoy it. So that's, as soon as I got back from the trip, that's actually when I joined IMF, and I started, looking around for people to learn from, because I know nothing. But yeah, I'd say, early March is when I actually downloaded FL Studio, messed around with the trial version, bought the student discounted version, and then happened to find like a half price mic, and that's pretty much how I started.
Often when somebody first gets FL Studio, they spend the first big chunk of time just making weird beats. I feel like you go through the entire catalog of weird noises in FL, and then you think, maybe I should write a song. So how did you come up with the Oshua sound?
Actually, that's a really good point. So when I first downloaded FL Studio, I started around with like the drum loops and stuff. Basically like crapping out really bad beats. I wouldn't even call them beats. They were just a bunch of bad sounds. But yeah, my same friend who was like, oh, let's, like a meme song. He was like, oh, like, have you like tried recording anything? And I was like, no, not really. Like I can't rap. I can't sing. I can't, I don't have a musical background. I can't do anything basically. And he was like, oh, like, okay, well, like, suit yourself kind of thing. And then I started like in my own time, literally recording on my like gaming headset, which should not be used for recording. But I started to realize that I really enjoyed coming up with melodies, like specifically vocal melodies. And I didn't need to produce beats to do that. I just figured, I could record in FL Studio for now and pick up the production stuff later, which I'm learning to produce currently. But
I know early on we had a conversation, and I asked if you made your own beats as well as did the vocals and the lyrics, and you said no, that you had gotten those from somewhere else. Now on this EP, are those all someone collaborative beats, or did you make any of the beats on the current EP?
I think so 3 of the beats I've had input in, but I haven't actually produced them. So my mate that found me in another Discord, he's been working with me closely ever since I released that song with Ozone. He like has been making exclusives, I guess, for me. And he's like, don't worry about paying me kind of thing. Like he just wants to work and like, develop that relationship, I guess. So I wouldn't say I've co-produced any of the beats. I would kind of say like he's beginning like giving me sounds. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. What about adding this type of sound, or showing him a reference to another song? And then the two of my favorite songs, so Decipher Me and Four Walls, they're from actual lo-fi producers. I really wish I could produce beats like that. That's what I'm working towards. But yeah, I haven't produced anything on my EP.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, it's still cool. Like, I think it says a lot that this producer who is creating these good beats, like the tracks, the beats, everything about your EP in general is just really high quality, well made. I think it's intelligent of them to be investing in you at this early stage, because you really do have a good grip on your sound. I think it's going to only get better with time. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
or it's going to get worse, and that's fine too.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Focus on the now. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to ask, just talking about when you got started, and probably reaching back before March of this year. But who were your early influences?
Oh, okay. So I grew up, I guess, in my teenage years, so around 2012, 2013, listening to a lot of, I guess, dubstep, but also boom bap rap, so really old lyrical hip hop. So like Jizza, Wu-Tang. I listen to a lot of Nujabes, Nujabes. I actually never found out how to pronounce his name, but he's actually, I guess, one of the forefathers of lo-fi at the moment. So I guess a lot of lyrical hip hop and also a lot of dubstep, but I wouldn't say that's influenced my sound or my music today.
Yeah, for sure. I think the lyrical hip hop, like there is a intelligent, witty use of words that I hear for sure, but your music never quite puts me in the mind of dubstep with the harshness.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I feel you. That's cool, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Looking back at it, I don't actually know why I was so into dubstep and that type of music, but I appreciate it now. But back then, I'm looking back, I'm like, I don't really know why I was listening to that. But yeah.
So if you right now could send just a piece of advice to your past self, be it your past self in March when you were getting started on on this EP, or your past self from before that, like, when you were just listening to music, maybe you thought music wasn't your thing, you didn't have a skill set for it. What's that advice that you would give yourself?
I think the main point would be you don't have to finish and release every single song. I guess like when you first start out, like you work on a project and you're so like invested in one project and you don't really bounce off to other ideas or other beats in my case. So I'd spend like a lot of time in my eyes on one project, and at the very end of it I'd be like, why did I spend so much time on something that in the end doesn't sound good, in my opinion. But I guess, over the few months that I've been doing this, I've realized it's actually good to take on multiple projects. It like helps you develop other sounds in other projects. It doesn't like, I guess, focus you on one thing at a time. But yeah, that's probably my main point of advice for past self.
I believe that the multiple project thing is a really good way to focus as well. It seems like a lack of focus, but the ability to be productive when you're procrastinating from your own project is very
exactly
important. Yeah. That's cool, man. I believe it too, and I hope you get the chance to tell a younger version of yourself that, in the form of some other artist who's starting out. But yeah, man. So moving from that, I do want to talk about the track that I'm calling your track from the past, even though basically all your tracks are from the same EP, which is excellent. Like, the format of this show does not matter as much as celebrating what you have made. This is a really good EP. But tell me some before we hit play. Tell me some about Four Walls.
So the main reason I started getting into music was because in Western Australia, as like I guess with the rest of the world, we were in quarantine, and I had literally like nothing to do. This was during uni break, so I didn't even have class or anything. I was literally sitting in my room doing nothing, and I was like, screw it. Like, it was actually one of the first songs. You know how I said I started recording after I started messing around with like bad production. It's actually one of the first songs I wrote and like recorded over. It's just that when I actually started getting into music, I came back to the song and I started it all from scratch, just with the same lyrics. That's why the lyrics are very reflective, I guess, of quarantine and being in your room in four walls. But yeah,
I really enjoy the line, and you'll have to correct me because I don't have the exact line in front of me, but it's something like staying inside and not because of Rona.
Yeah. Very contemporary, but yeah.
I dig it though, man. That's a good thing about it.
Went outside cause it's looking like a cool day. You bother me and I'm listening in the cold play. Something's wrong, can you please just go away? I got stamps soon, plans for the runway. Went outside cause it's looking like a cool day. You bother me and I'm listening in the cold play. Something's wrong, can you please just go away? I got stamps soon, plans for the runway. You gotta go while you're sitting in the corner, cause some things can be sold with a boner. Feeling great like I'm lacking sort of chroma. Stuck inside and it's not because of Rona. Four walls, wish it wasn't cool. It's hard, not a thing to do. Wish I wasn't feeling you. These eyes only looking blue. Call you last Sunday. Strung out till next Monday. This foul, this Bombay, this bout, some replay. Not even talking. If I check Snap, Max, I'm not stalking. Burst shit today as I'm fucking walking. Whole day and a whole lot of boring. You were right, I don't belong to this earth, this house in the living room. This birth, this mouth don't deserve resume. This worth, not worth, time to meet my doom. She was telling me what's right, didn't run away. I was staying up all night, had a fuzzy day. I was staring at a plain sight, threw my heart away. Now she gone at first light, wishing that she stayed. 4 walls, wish it wasn't cool. It's hard, not a thing to do. Wish I wasn't feeling you. These eyes only looking blue. Call you last Sunday. Strung out till next Monday. This foul, this Bombay, this bout, some replay.
Awesome, man. That's such a jam. I really like you mentioned the just kind of lo-fi-ness of that beat, and I feel it completely. Like that kind of soft piano playing almost jazzy chords. I really like that.
I love the beat. Yeah,
yeah. It really suits your vocal and your lyrics well. Like it feels. I mean, there may even be like a rain sound happening in that song, or maybe that's like a record filter or something.
It's a vinyl crackle.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like looking out a window in a small apartment watching it rain. Like it completely,
exactly.
it completely and perfectly like hits that feeling. Yeah, but yeah, man. So that being said, you mentioned that the lyrics were older than the song itself in some way. So could you, I guess, go over what is it like when you take a song or your own lyrics and you come up with these melodies and these cadences over a beat? Do you often have the flow in your head with the lyrics and then you find the beat to match, or how does that happen?
For me, I actually don't usually pre-write songs. 4 Balls, I think, is one of the 2 songs that I've actually pre-written. What I usually do is either people send me beats nowadays, or I guess I just go on a hunt on YouTube and find. I'll have like a sound in my head. Like more recently, it's been this like lullaby jingle sound. I guess you can get from lo-fi songs or from like emo rap songs.
Yeah.
And I'll basically go on a hunt for that specific sound. I don't care about the BPM, about the key. I'm just looking for that sound. And when I find it, I just pretty much play the beats that I find over and over, and I'll start humming a melody. If I don't hum a melody to the song, I'll just close the tab and go to the next beat. As soon as I start humming a melody, if I hum or I guess sing or mumble gibberish for 2.5 minutes, I'm like, okay, like if I can mumble and hum a melody consistently for 2.5 minutes to a song I haven't written, all I have to do is write lyrics to it. So yeah, I would download the free beat or the beat that I've been sent. I put it in FL and I'd start writing line by line. Yeah. So if I guess like the hardest thing for me would be coming up with the actual structure of the song. So where the hook would go, where the verse would go. Is there a bridge in the song? Is there an intro? Should there be a pre-chorus here? Because I've only been songwriting for a couple of months now, so I think my process is very raw. But for me, I think it works. If you're like humming gibberish, right, and you get to, I guess, the high points of the hum, the high pitched sounds of the hum, that's where I'll end a rhyme, if that makes sense. So pretty much what I do is I'll fill those gaps. I'll make sure that same sound that I create while I'm humming, I create with a word.
I have heard a similar thing before in just like a songwriting instructional video, and it talked about how the chorus shouldn't be the only hook in the song. You know, like you should find as many hooking points as you can in a song. And I think that's what you're describing is like when you feel the melody going to that hook point, that's where you put the important word.
Exactly. Yeah. That's spot on. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I really appreciate that about your music. And it makes sense because your beat accentuates that style of songwriting too. So at the core of it, like you could take these same songs and play them over an acoustic guitar and they would still be good songs, you know, well-written songs.
Yeah, I'm actually experimenting with beats that are, I guess, less full. So I have a single that I just finished where the main part of the beat is just a guitar loop and there's not much else.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you are already working on turning this EP into a full length, or are you working on a completely new set of songs?
Completely new set of songs. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Because like, as I said, like the main point of advice for when I first started was you don't have to finish every project that you start. And I'd say around at least 2 of the songs on the EP I released were songs that I finished. And now that it's released, I'm kind of like, I could have changed that a lot, or I could have released a different song, or I could have released a project that I spent more time on that would have been better in my opinion. So yeah, that's why. Yeah, the EP for me was more like to like gauge what people like listening to, like what people like hearing about my voice on specific types of beats. I found that lo-fi pop or lo-fi hip hop is a lot more preferred by the people listening. So I'm kind of steering away from, I guess, the more prominent like hip hop today. So I'm still like maintaining the same lyrics, just over I guess more stripped down beats.
Yeah. So where are you in the process of this new collection of songs? Are you just working on the first now?
So I've finished recording 4 songs in the past 2 weeks, I think. 2 of them they've done mixing, that they're all finished. I'm just getting artwork done for it now. I actually met Kenny Beats. He's this really, in my opinion, really cool hip hop producer. He's kind of big, but yeah, I was in his Discord and I was just asking around for people to do cover art, and I found this guy. He was like, yeah, I do graphic design in my spare time, and he's the guy who made the cover art for the EP. And I was like, wow, like you do this in your spare time, like that's amazing that you're that good. So I'm working with him for the cover art for the next 2 singles as well. So
the songs are done, you're just waiting on the cover art at this point, and then you're going to release?
Yeah, I'm waiting on the cover art, and then I'm looking at releasing the first single kind of around, I guess, the 24th of September, and then
awesome.
Yeah, and the second one early to mid-October. But
yeah. I love knowing like what you're currently working on. It's very encouraging to hear that you've just released this EP and you're already thinking like, well, yeah, but what's next? You know, I feel like it's a blessing and a curse for an artist who finishes something, but then still doesn't feel finished expressing what it is they want to say. So they have to move on to the next thing, you know? But with that in mind, like talking about how you were kind of gauging the audience, has your own listening preferences changed any? What's some things that you are currently into that you have gotten into in the time you've been making this lo-fi hip hop type stuff?
So what's interesting is what got me into making emo hip hop or emo rap or cloud rap is I started listening to a lot of Juice WRLD around early 2017. So around the time he dropped his debut album, and he really got me into, I guess, emo rap. Not so much the lyrics. I honestly, in all cases, don't really agree with most of the lyrics about, like, I guess money, drugs, and all that. But I liked the vibe and the essence that the songs brought. So I wanted to recreate that same vibe with my songs. And I'd say to maintain that, I've definitely still maintained listening to that type of music. I still listen to a lot of Juice WRLD daily. But I definitely say I've started listening to a lot more lo-fi pop songs. So people like Pofu, But yeah, I'd say my what I listen to definitely does influence what I make.
Yeah.
But I don't think I go into the creative process with that in mind, being like, oh, I want to recreate this person's sound. It's more like I like how I feel listening to this song. I want to recreate that feeling for a listener.
Coming back to like how perfectly you craft a moment and an emotion, it makes sense that you're aiming for a feeling and finding the sounds that match as opposed to the other way around. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
The next thing I really like to ask, and we've already touched on some of this before, but if you were condensing, capturing, bullet pointing, you know, what would you say somebody should do to get a hold of your approach?
In terms of coming up with the melody, definitely the humming to random beats approach works for me the best. in terms of songwriting, a big thing for me that I realized was a lot of my lyrics come out really sad for no reason, like very melancholic. I still don't know why. Like I tried writing a happy song the other day and it just ended up being so bad. I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. But I don't know why I'm actually drawn to sad sounds, but I just am. I think maybe that is because of what I listen to, but I wouldn't say I'm exactly a sad person right now. I mean, everyone's happy and sad at different points, but I wouldn't say I'm sad right now, but I still write really, really sad lyrics, a lot of which I don't actually record. Because I'm like, wow, this will make someone depressed, like, or sad listening to it, you know? But in terms of songwriting, apart from filling those gaps when you hum, I like looking at past experiences or past people more specifically. I don't like being personal in my songs, but I like recreating how I felt or how someone made me feel. But then recreating that experience, but in a different way, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, like today, I maybe stopped being friends with one of my best friends. This didn't happen, but let's say it happened. I experienced a lot of different emotions and feelings, and I was like, oh, like this feels like shit, but it also feels invigorating. Maybe I feel expressive about it. Maybe I feel angry. And like those emotions I'll take and I'll recreate a similar experience just so it's not directly personal in my own life, you know? But yeah, definitely like taking things that happened to you in the past and just remembering how you felt. I think makes the lyrics a lot more relatable to people because it means people can relate to something now that you experienced earlier on.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you say you don't like being too personal in your music, because I think there is a great deal of vulnerability in some of your lyrics that people going through or maybe just out of similar situations can import their own personal experience into, because it is basically a feeling and you can put your own faces and names on it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's definitely something I try to focus on when I'm writing is, you know, if I'm writing about, again, like an experience, this experience may not have happened to me, but can someone relate to it? Does it have an indirect meaning that someone can hear and be like, oh, like I can see myself in this fictitious person's shoes, you know? Or fictional person's shoes.
I would like to move on to the bizarre game that I have planned for you, if that's something you're ready to do. So the game is just called NBA or Star Wars. And I've got a series of names. And we are going to decide if they are people from the NBA or people from the Star Wars series.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay. First character. Ekpe Uda. Was he an NBA player who played 1 year in Turkey, or did he fly a Y-wing at the original Death Star battle?
Ekpe Uda. It doesn't sound like a Turkish name, but he could be an imported player. I'm going to go with Star Wars. I'm going to go with he's from Star Wars.
He was indeed an NBA player.
Oh,
I heard you rule it out all too soon. Next question. Ezra Bridger. Was he the oldest member of the Oklahoma City Thunder, or was he born the same day the Galactic Empire was born?
I think same day Galactic Empire was born. Isn't there a series about Ezra at the moment? I think I'm going with Star Wars with this one.
It is indeed Star Wars, and he was born the day the Galactic Empire was born.
Yeah, I think he's a character, and he has a gun, but it's also a lightsaber. I think.
Fantastic.
I'm thinking of a different person.
All right, next question. I've got 5 total. So question number 3. Jan Dudana, was he a 7-1 Swedish NBA Hall of Fame inductee? Or, in the year 1977, or the general of the rebel base on Yavin 4?
Oh, Jan Dudana. I'm going with Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Thank God.
That's 2 for 3. Next question. Longar. Was Longar born in Wau, Sudan, or was he born on Genosis?
Longar. This is really bad logic, but there's a rookie this year called Bol, and I'm going to go with Longar being along the same lines, same thinking, so I'm going with an NBA player.
Yep, yeah, he was born in Wau, Sudan.
Yes.
Boutros Ghali, was he the first coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves or a bounty hunter in the days of Order 66?
What? I know nothing about the Timberwolves. I don't. I'm going with Star Wars just because I don't know anything about the Timberwolves. I'm going with Star Wars.
That was a trick question. He was an Egyptian diplomat in the 70s. I'm sorry, his name was too good. His name was too good to not include on the game. I liked his name.
That is some name.
Howdy again, y'all. I hope you are enjoying the episode so far. Oshua is an interesting guy with an interesting story and a lot of interesting music. As always, in this kind of interlude portion of the episode, I want to direct your attention to the show notes. You can find a link to more Stay Creative content, including sponsors and where to follow, where to listen live, things like that. You can also, in the show notes, find Oshua's link, where you can listen to his new EP and other things that he has available online, social media and things like that. I also would like to take a moment just to ask to consider subscribing, following, or leaving a review on the show, wherever it is you listen to things. Apparently that is a fundamental way a podcast like this one will grow. And I really would like to grow it. I think the music that's being shared is worth sharing with more people, and the insights are going to help more people. So let's get back to the interview. All right. So from that, I know you are early in your musical creation journey, but at this point, I would like to know, why are you working on music? What is it you're hoping your listeners get out of your sound? What is it you're hoping eventually happens with the work that you're putting into it?
Oh, okay. I actually have a good answer for this. So I think like most people on the internet, in my opinion, I have a really bad sleeping pattern or very bad sleeping habits. Even during college time or my semester, I go to bed really, really late, like around 5, 6, 4, any time after 1 pretty much, for no apparent reason. This was happening before I started making music and still happening now. I'd say I've definitely tried to fix it. It's just something I don't notice as wrong, so I don't actively try and, I guess, cancel the action. But making music has, I guess, in my mind, tricked me into believing, maybe not tricked, made me believe that I'm not wasting my time now while I'm up so late. I'm actually being productive with it. Plus, like, when I record, everyone in my house is asleep. So I guess that's an advantage. Like, no one has to hear me sing or record or anything. But yeah, it's a way for me to feel productive. And I think the reason I made my EP and titled it Sleeping Forever is because in my eyes, a lot of the times I miss out on things with my friends because I'm sleeping. Like, they're like, oh, let's go for coffee, let's go for lunch, or even brunch. I might still be sleeping, kind of thing. And I wanted to make music for the people who are staying up late. And I think that there is a lot of things associated with staying up late, typically a lot of, I guess, sad tones. Yeah, which is why I think maybe that's why I center my lyrics and my sounds around jingles or like lullaby sounds or sad sounds. Yeah.
That's really sincere. You know, I think that sincerity comes through in your music in a way that I did not connect before. The Sleeping Forever just kind of being a pairing of semi sad words to me at the time, but like knowing you were dealing with your own just kind of form of an almost insomnia and a missing out on part of your life, you know, like and turning that, not only that feeling, but I suppose that time that you are awake, unable to sleep, into something for others going through the same thing, man. That's good. That's wonderful. So I want to just kind of ask for the folks listening and for my own eager anticipation, what's next for you? Are these songs that you're currently working on going to be an EP that I'll hear within the next few months? You think, like you're kind of a beast when it comes to producing stuff and getting things out. So what's next for you?
What's next in terms of music? Yeah, as I said, I'm working on 4 singles that I'll release, I guess, maybe 2 to 3 weeks apart, starting late September. The songs, again, because I've only been doing this for such a short period of time, some of them are again lo-fi, so playing on what I know about the people that actually do listen to my music, and some of them are experiments. So how I said the one song where it's like basically just a guitar loop, that's definitely going to be experimental for me, because I think I pushed my voice in that song. A lot of experimenting, but also a lot of, I've learned a bit in the couple of months that I've been doing music, so I want to try and, I guess, put what I've learned to test. In terms of my actual, I guess, musical career, if I can say that, I've been, I don't know, a lot's been happening in the past 2 weeks. I've been put on radio here. I've been put in blogs. Had my first interview with you tonight or today. So yeah, I really don't know where this is all going to go. It's to me, it's still just something I do late at night when I feel like being productive or feel like not wasting my time. So
for sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, man, I'm excited for what's coming, and I'm excited to see what comes next. It's good to be talking to you. I'm really honored that you have had your first successful interview right here with me. And so before we actually get to probably one of my favorite tracks off of the EP, I really like Decipher Me, which we're going to introduce in a moment. Well, before we do play Decipher Me, buddy, and you have a moment to introduce it, I always like to let guests assign us some homework. So an album, a book, a movie, a video game, whatever, one thing we should experience before we die.
Okay. In terms of a game, if you are at all a Star Wars fan, you have to have played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, either 1 or 2, in my opinion, number 2.
Yes.
Yeah, and in terms of a TV show or something along those lines, I think I'm rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender now, like for the 5th time, maybe. That show just like doesn't get old. Like I was watching as a kid, and I watched it in high school, and I'm watching it now. I'm just like it's an animated show and it's a cartoon, but like, man, it's so good for what it is.
Yeah, it's real deal, man. Well, heck yeah, man. Introduce Decipher Me for me. Tell me some about it so we can enjoy it correctly.
Yeah, sure. So I met the person featuring, her name's Dami, on Instagram. I knew this guy that was sending me beats, and he was like, "Oh, hey, like, you should check out my friend Dami. She's got a really cool voice." And I heard her music, and I was like, "Wow, like why do you have like no listeners? Like you should have more people listening to your music. Like your voice is amazing," kind of thing. And straight off the bat, we started talking about not music, but about people. We started talking about, like, I guess, friendships and stuff.
Yeah.
And how complex people can be. Almost to a T, like how complex certain people can be. And that's why the song's called Decipher Me. There's a lot of tones about relationships or friendships, and in my case, friendships, where it's like, yeah, I think you can't really put into words or even in a song everything about a person. So it's best to just kind of, be general about it.
All along we're friends through the good times. Is it all my fault? We couldn't keep things clean on our track. We spilled too much salt, and I don't wanna feel too much caution. Should we put this on hold and come back to it maybe some other time? Maybe when we're old, 'cause I don't wanna feel unnecessary. I got my friends and I come alive. I don't wanna know my intentions. I just wanna be free until I die. I don't wanna feel unnecessary. I got my friends and I come alive. I don't wanna know your intentions. I just wanna be done and maybe cry. Decide, decide for me. You lied to me. It's fine for me. I'm fine, you see. Staring at the wall, I'm alright though. Quick trip to the past, I'm alright though. When do I get to exist again? Feeling like a fall, I'm alright though. Gotta pause, gotta check, I'm alright, so don't mind me, I'm going down, down, down. Decide for me. You lied to me. It's fine for me. I'm fine, you see. Got me feeling black and blue. Can you hear when I'm calling out for you?
That's a jam.
Thank you.
Is that collaboration still living? Or are you gonna maybe have her on another track in the future?
100%.
Yeah.
She's actually asked me to get on one of her songs. She's also a full-time student, so she's busy a lot of the time. But when she does find a song that she wants me to get on, she'll let me know. But yeah, definitely more collabs with her in the future. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. That's exciting. That was I could hear that on the radio overplayed to the extent that I don't like it anymore.
Thank you.
That's how good it is. So good
Cheers.
good work, man. I'm excited to hear more from the two of you. Well, awesome, man. I'll probably go ahead and start wrapping up, but I'm super grateful for your time today, man. I feel like I enjoyed your music before this talk, but I'm going to listen to it with just a little bit of a new ear now that we have talked about some of the leading up to it, the purpose of it, and just the soul behind it, man. I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your music.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Like, this really does mean a lot to me. I'm really grateful to be here. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. And I'll talk to you soon. Obviously, the party never ends on IMF, so we'll
Yes,
catch
sir.
up. I'm grateful Oshua was able to share some with me today. His music, his insights, his journey so far are rich with information and encouragement for anyone in any part of their creative journey. If you're new, starting out, kind of like he is, or if you've been making music a long time, there is something special in listening to your audience the way he has, and releasing this EP with different ideas, and now he's moving in a direction more like what people want to hear. That is a skill, both in the listening and in the creating, using the information you gathered through listening. I think also his willingness to be vulnerable is admirable, and something that is critical to making good art. If something is going on in your life and you want to create art about it, the willingness to be forward about what it is that's bothering you, about this inability to sleep, or this whatever the case may be. Obviously, I don't want to import any additional things onto his story, but whatever it is, you have the opportunity to reach out to others in the same situation and connect with them through art, through something beautiful, something created. And I think that is a wonderful gift that artists get to give the world. I'm also grateful you've spent your time listening today. I hope you heard something in Oshua's story or in his music that really stuck with you. And I hope to share some more time with you again very soon, either live on the Discord or Twitch, or the next time a recorded episode goes out. But of course, until then, please, as a personal favor to me, stay courageous, stay curious, and stay creative.